Hi, welcome to this new video of mine. Why do we have enemies in our life? Remember, I promised those who have seen my last video on the 3 universal principles, I promised that I would put this video. So the question is, do we have enemies? Absolutely. There is no question about it that we have enemies. So in this video, what we are going to do is we are going to explore the 5 reasons why we have enemies. Let's accept that we all have enemies. If I asked you the question, who is responsible? I bet all those who have said yes, that we have enemies, would accept that I am responsible, or we are responsible, or us are responsible. At the same time, I'm going to say that everyone who have answered me knows that this is an intellectual answer. And anything that is intellectual in nature does not make a difference in our life. My next video will be on understanding and experiential learning. Wait for that. Why I say that intellectual answers do not make really a difference. What I'm going to do in this video, I'll take you through an experiential process whereby at the end of that process, you will be clear as to who is responsible, right? And finally, the question is, how do I deal with them? Once we have enemies, how do I deal with them? Okay? So, what are the 5 reasons? Why do we have enemies? First of all, I want you to work with me when I'm talking about this. I want you to have people or situations in your life where you have held grudges. Now don't tell me you don't have grudges. Now the intensity might be different for different people, but everyone has grudges against each other. So it all depends on what is the intensity. But identify situations where you have held grudges against this. If you have, then that's how you create enemies. Identify places where you have relationships where you are expecting more than essential from that relationships. That's another reason why we have enemies in our life. Unwilling to see both sides. Now, in any place, I bet you will agree with me that we are willing to see our side. But are you willing to see the other point of view, other person's point of view? Are you? Most of the times we are unwilling. We are always right. Yeah? Stealing from others. Okay? Now, I know stealing is a strong, very, very strong word. Some people might not like it. But let me be clear what I mean by stealing from others. There are places where you steal mentally, emotionally, and sometimes physically. Okay? Any ideas picked up from here and there without giving them credit is stealing. Emotionally, when you drain the other person emotionally, you have stolen that person's emotions. I bet now you can get the why I'm saying that stealing from others creates enemies. Physically, I don't want to talk about that. I mean, that's the ultimate form of stealing. And if you really look at our nature, we desire to be right always. We want to be right always. Am I right? When I'm saying this, I want to be right, isn't it? Okay, so we have been hardwired for that, and the more strongly this trait of ours that I want to be right, the more difficult we are going to be in our lives. Now, I think so with these 5 reasons that we have explored, you have a certain sense of why we have enemies, right? So let us look at the process. I said that I'm going to take you through a process, but before I take you through the actual process, I want to explain you the process. So there are these 2 circles that you can see. One circle I call is something happened, and the other circle I call the story. Now what do I mean by that? Let's pick up an example and imagine that you and I are having a fight, or you're having a fight with somebody whom you really love. Okay? So in that fight, there is something that happens, isn't it? Something that happens. And imagine that there is a fly on the wall behind. What do you think the fly can see? The fly can see all the actions that are happened. The fly can see, maybe if you're having an argument with me or a fight with me, maybe the fly can see that I came and sat here, or the fly can see that I'm talking, I'm making these hand movements. The fly cannot understand what is being said, the meaning behind what is being. The fly can see that I'm talking to you. The fly may also be able to see, if it is a physical, we are in face to face with each other, the fly can see you talking, your hand movements, the way you came and sat, all these things, all the actions the fly can see, but it cannot, make meaning out of it, right? So that's the domain of what happened. Something happened. It's like the fly on the wall can see this, okay? When something happens, you added something to it, something in that particular fight that I am talking about. You add something to it, which I call the story number 1. Are you clear about what I am trying to say? Something happened is all the actions. The fly on the wall can see that actions, but it can't decipher what is really being said. You are the person who is going to add something to that, and you do add something to that, which is called the story. Okay, so now I'm going to take you through this process. Ready for it? Okay, let's go. So I want you to pick up someone whom you really hate. Again, hate is a very strong word, but if everyone has people whom they hate in their lives. Okay, I'm not going to go in depth, but if you can identify a person whom you hate, that's the best part of this particular process. But if you don't like the word hate, at least look at someone you dislike, you cannot get along with. Remember the mangoes, the sour mangoes in our earlier video, the 3 universal principles. So pick up someone whom you don't like, dislike, you can't get along with. Ideal person is someone whom you hate. The reason why I'm saying that is because when you use strong emotions like hate and all, it will be easy for you to step into that moment when those things happen. But I'm okay with people who are dislike. All you have to be is candidly honest with yourself and go through this process emotionally with me. Okay, just don't think about it. I want you to go and actually experience those moments in your life. Now, if you have picked up some person whom you hate, you dislike, whom you cannot get along with, or you find him dominating, or you find him angry, unreasonable, whatever it may be. Okay, I want you to go back, close your eyes, calm yourself, take a deep breath, calm yourself, and look at that person, that right now that person is a monster in your life. Now I bet you know that this person was not like that in your life. Either that person did not exist in your life, or he was not the way he is for you today. Okay, so what I want you to do now is I want you to go back regress into your life and go back to the first negative experience you had with this particular person. The very first negative experience. Okay, so there was something that happened. Imagine the fly on the wall seeing what happened. You said something, that person said something, you said something, that person said something. Maybe if there were other stronger actions, the fly can see that. And all when this happened, I want you to be present to what you said to yourself in that particular moment of time. I want you to feel all the emotions that you went through. Anger, fear, domination, all whatever you went through. Be candidly honest. That's how you will go through this process, and that's when you will have the real understanding of this whole process, the power of this process. The moment you can connect to what you said to yourself, that becomes your story number 1. I'm giving you some time to actually get to what did you say to yourself. This person is like this person is like that, he doesn't listen to me, anything, whatever you said to yourself, just get to that particular point. Okay? You can pause this video till you get to that point, that's perfectly alright. once you have gotten to the story number 1 that you have added, now we are adults, so we have this habit of putting everything under the carpet and thinking that we have resolved the issue. Actually, it is under the carpet. Okay, we have all the muck under our carpet. So you think that it is resolved. Now go to the second experience, maybe few hours afterwards, few days, few weeks, few months. Go to the second experience, which is obviously again a negative experience with this particular person. It may be in the same place, it may be in a different place, but look at all what happened over there. Something happened number 2. And for that something happened number 2, you again said something to yourself and you have this story number 2. Did you get it? Great. Now my question to you is that, is the story number 2 that you have independent of story number 1? I bet your answer is no. I'm sure you get that the story number 2 is colored by your story number 1. Yeah, you getting that? Now what happens is that the moment you use the story number 2, it strengthens your belief on what happened in the something happened number 1, which now again intensifies your story number 1. It strengthens your story number 1. So your second something happened number 2 actually strengthens your what you said to yourself in that particular first fight you have. Are you with me in this process? Yeah. Then again, you think that you have resolved the issue. You have something happened number 3. Story number 3. Can you see how each time it is colored by story number 1, story number 2, story number 3, and every time you have this new story or new thing, it may be the same, but sometimes, many times it is something different, which strengthens your story number 1, which strengthens your belief that that particular person is the way that person is. That is your story number 1. You have story number, something happened number 4, story number 4, again further strengthened. Like this, it reaches to story number n. And that's how the monster is born. Today, can you see how this person today is a result of what you said to yourself in that first incidence? Okay? Now you can experience your responsibility in who is the person, how we create enemies in our life. Right? Okay? So I think so you can try this on. If you can rewind the video, go back, come back till you get to this, the crux of the matter. Now you can really see that how the monster is born in your life. It's all in our head. All the monsters are in our head. Now the golden question comes, how do I deal with this? Okay? So first and foremost, you must learn to accept ownership without blaming. If you want to resolve this, you have to come out of the blame part. We are masters in blaming each other. Okay? So accept responsibility without blame. And when I say without blame, not only do you stop blaming that other person, you stop blaming yourself. Second, be committed for one thing. Have this commitment in your life not to have any hostile relationships. You may bring them down back to normal, neutral level, because tomorrow if some of our relations are so pathetic, so bad that we don't want to face each other. Okay? It is going to bring your energy down. So it is best to bring it down to neutral. I'm sure it's not going to be easy, but it's not impossible either. I have done it. I'll give you ways how to do it. That's what we're going to talk about. But bring them down to neutral. Tomorrow, if that person comes in front of you, you should be able to have a cup of tea without any problems. You may not have, it's not necessary for you to have great relationships with everyone. It's not possible and it's not required. But you need to have it to bring it down to neutral. Do not have hostile relationships in your life. Very important. right? An open-hearted conversation with that person can do the trick. Now, open-hearted conversations will require some amount of courage, preparation, but an open-hearted conversation with anyone can solve the most difficult situations in our life. Any conversation, all problems, all issues in our life can be resolved by having a proper conversation. Now, are we good at it? Do we have the courage to it? If you have it, go ahead and do it with that particular person. Another thing is that you can reframe your story. Okay? You are the master of your stories. You are the creator of that stories. So if you can put a negative story, how about putting a positive story? It's all in your hands, isn't it? It's possible. It's possible. It is said that be the change that you want to see in the world. This really means that I must learn to give energy to my thoughts which I want to see in the future. So you want to resolve, you want to bring down. I want you to start creating stories about that particular person whereby it will help you to bring it down to neutral. If you can transform that relationship, nothing right. It depends on how committed you are, what is your commitment level to that particular person to revive that relationship. So there are so many other factors. Over a period of time, I'll also put a video how to deal with strong people, how to deal with difficult people in our lives. Absolutely. Okay, but it is possible. It's not impossible. As I said, open-hearted communication can make it happen. Use affirmations. Watch my video on affirmations, which is soon going to come. The most powerful way to reframe your stories and anything that you want to manifest in your life. Any thought that you want to manifest in your lives. So it is possible for us to reframe our stories. Finally, remember. Do you agree with me that we constantly want to change the other person outside of us? Is it possible? It's not possible. The only thing that you can do is to master dealing with the person inside your head. Stop changing people in your life. There is no way you can change them. If you change, if you create a positive story about that particular person, and over a period of time, it takes time, it's not going to happen. It's not magic that over suddenly this particular person is going to become a great friend. It's not going to happen that way. It will take time, but it is possible. I have seen miracles happen in my life. Miracles have happened in my life. I have changed the way people relate to me, people relating to me also. Simply by dealing with the person in my head. I'll tell you a story over here. I was in Palghar with one of my friends. Yeah. See, my wife, at that point of time, I had this story about my wife that she is dominating. Okay. So, I had gone to a friend of mine who stays in Palghar, and we both were sitting and we were having a chat. And I remember that person, he told me, Raju, are you married to her or are you married to a person inside your head? And I'm telling you, in that point of time, I realized that this is reality. The person sitting next to me is reality. She is exactly the way she is. I might as well accept her the way she is. Rather than trying to create, see, we have all these, the Prince Charming and the dream girls in our lives. And we relate to this particular person through that filter. Are you getting what I'm saying? So the only way to deal with people is to change the way we deal with the person inside our head. And that's a powerful way to deal with all enemies in your life. Okay, so I hope this video has given you insights into how I create my own enemies and what can I do with them, right? So it's, as I said, that I am going to insist on implementations. So identify situations where you can apply whatever you have learned, implement and succeed. If you need support, do get in touch with me through my YouTube channel. So if you like whatever you see, if you think that this video has given you some value and it can create value to some known person, your family, your friends, please like it, please share it. It motivates me to put more and more videos. And do not forget to subscribe to my YouTube channel and press the bell icon so that you start getting all the notifications of all the new videos that I put. Thank you very much.